Hey, good evening, everybody. It's a happy Friday evening, and we're almost caught up with everything around here at Cafe HQ. A few things still left out there for me to do, mostly replying to many people's emails leading up to Comic Art Live last weekend, and a lot of feedback and thoughts that I got after the show. So if you're one of those people waiting for a reply from me, I promise you I will get to you in the next couple days, certainly by Sunday at the latest. I've got a family gathering tomorrow, so I might be able to get a few things done before I go to that and a little after it, but more than likely I'll get all my replies done by Sunday. So thank you for your patience. I do appreciate it. It's been a pretty busy schedule. I hope everybody caught Scott Williams' interview last night. I know that was high on so many people's lists of somebody that really wanted me to get in touch with. And so I was so happy when Dino took care of that for me. We had a great talk last night. It was probably one of my, they're all my favorites, but that was a very insightful one. It was kind of nice to sort of talk about his career in a roundabout way, but also just stay focused on his time as an original comic art collector. And, he like he said, he started in 1980, and that was, he had a really great story, I thought. Of course, when we all knew that, it was just being able to talk with him about it. And of course, anybody who had heard the earlier interview that he had done with Felix, it's, one of Felix's most popular ones as well. So really great to have Scott on last evening, and I appreciate the help that Dino did. And thank you, Ron, for the tip this evening. I do appreciate that as well. So before we kind of get into my weekly update, just going over the sales and things, I wanted to run over the schedule as things are going to be over the month of June, and because it's going to be hectic. I think, as everybody knows, I'm going to take a brief vacation from I wrote it down, 6/18, so that's a Friday, through 6/28, which is a Monday. So we've got still got some things scheduled for that week. Dino is going to be conducting an interview with Brian Ketterer on Tuesday, June 22nd. So that's one of the fill-ins, and we're definitely going to find a way to get the Dueling Dealer episode done one way or another. I might be sitting on the beach when that happens, but we'll see. And but there are a lot of other things coming up. Of course, this Sunday we have the latest collector conversation, and we have finalized the people who will be with me on that one. As far as the collectors go, it's going to be James Siegel, Mikhail, and Ruben the Collector will make his first appearance with that, and then also Michael Lovitz. So that's going to be a really interesting group to have together on Sunday at 9 p.m. And speaking of Michael, we also have the next amateur dueling dealer bout lined up. It will happen on Monday, June 14th, and it's going to be between Michael Lovitz and Tatiana. So that's going to be a lot of fun, I am sure. We haven't really gone over the whole ground rules on making memes and those sorts of things, but I just knowing both of them as well as I do, I'm sure that's going to be a really fun experience for them and for everybody who's going to be watching that show. So should be a lot of fun. Should bring the Thor helmet. Okay, yeah, I'll think about that, but I don't think I'm going to put. They might not let me have that as a carry-on, let alone the Thor hammer, but we'll see. Any tape shows? I'm not sure about that, Marcus. I might tape the. Let's see. I'm leaving on a Friday morning, so I may tape that particular CAF update, so I can go over all the sales information and the popular artwork. That might be taped, and who knows? I mean, while I'm on the road, some of those things I may pop in. Like I said, Dueling Dealers I might do, but we'll see. I'm not gonna. I really actually want to take a break. I mean, like everybody else here who's had a vacation since last February, it's been a long time coming. So I think that I'm going to try to step back as much as I can from things. But obviously there's a lot of stuff I'll be working on. I'll have my hands on. So Maureen's not going on the trip with me, and neither is my son. And I know they're going to be taking care of some things for me while I'm away. So we'll still be doing a few different things. Avoid the 3-hour tour. Yeah, we are going to go on a fishing trip. I can tell you that. My daughter who's graduating high school, has always wanted to go fishing on the ocean. So we are actually going to go out on a boat and do some fishing while we're down in the Keys. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully I will not wear my Gilligan shirt that day. So, but hey, I want to go over the full lineup, because I always keep thinking I'm going to scale these things back, and then I look at what I've got ahead of me, and I'm always surprised, because the next 2 weeks are going to be very busy leading up to when I do go away. So next, after Memorial Day, so on Tuesday, June 1st, we're doing a science fiction fantasy kind of digest art show. Remember how I've been talking about wanting to do more focused shows, whether it's on a genre or an artist, or that sort of thing. This one is going to be great because I'll have Doug Ellis back on, but also Glenn Crane and Victor Drix. So both, we know all the, their collections really well. It should be a lot of fun because, all of them have been heavily involved in that area of collecting for a very long time. Glenn's had he's just got an amazing collection. So I can't wait to just talk with all of them. I'll be moderating the panel, but they'll probably be doing most of the talking on that one. That Thursday next week on the 3rd, I'll be with Sean Clancy. On Monday, the 7th, we're doing another Comic Link auction recap. I kind of talked with Josh today, and we worked out the details on doing that. So we'll be doing another one of those. Heritage is going to be doing a kind of a preview show with me on the 8th, that Tuesday. But with that, they're going to give us probably like an hour and a half. I mean, not just the preview. The preview probably the short part of it. But I'll have Joe Madalena, Ed Jaster, and Todd Hignite are all going to be on with me and just talking about the state of the hobby, which I'm sure everybody's going to have a lot of questions for them, and it'll be interesting to get their perspective on where things have gone in the last 14 months, really, where everything has spiked to 30% over what they were before, and in some cases 100% more than they were just recently. But that should definitely be an interesting conversation. And Joe is new to Heritage. He kind of moved over from Profiles at the beginning of the year, I believe. And when I talked with Joe right before Comic Art Live, they talked about wanting to try to do a similar thing maybe a couple times a year, and just kind of go out and preview whatever signature auction there is. And certainly it's not going to be every signature auction, but maybe every other one. So maybe every 4 months we might have them on, and it might be a different group with Joe. And we'll talk about the hobby a bit. And again, it'll just be a different perspective on things. We've had the dealers, with Mike and Will and Glenn on, and we've gotten their perspectives over the last year. So I think it'll be interesting, and to have them on the show. I've also talked with Josh, and I do believe, and Douglas from Comic Link, and I think both of them are very open to certainly doing a preview, but getting on the show and talking a little bit about, their views on where things are going with the original comic art collecting. So at any rate, so you can see, so I've got that, and just going over my list, I've got, everybody wants to do a preview now too. So I've got Chuck Costas from Prop Store will be doing one with me on the 10th. On that same day, I actually might be interviewed, rather than me doing an interview, I might be interviewed by Coom from, everybody knows from the I forget what the exact name of the biggest Facebook group out there for comic art collecting is. He's one of the moderators, but he asked if he could do that on behalf of comiccon.com. And I said, sure. Nobody's interviewed me for any of the shows that we've done, even though Scott was almost kind of doing that last night at the start of the show. So Coom, as long as we work that out, he'll be the one doing it, and it'll be simulcast on a bunch of their channels and stuff. So that'll be kind of interesting to do. Then Saturday on the 12th, and I should have like a thing up here so you can just see it, but I'll be doing a claim sale again with this time with Mike Vosberg, and Chuck Costas reps Mike for some of his sales. And so Mike's going to have probably about 30 artworks, some of it from his early career, nothing major, but then a lot of work that he's done maybe in the last few years. So it'll be interesting. I told him I'm game for something like that. It'll be fun to do. I think it's going to be 1 p.m. on Saturday, the 12th. So we'll see how that goes. And then on top of that, I've got a Vincent on again on the 17th. So the day before I leave, Vincent wants to do a Comic Connect preview for their next auction. And then 9 p.m. that night, I'll have Jimmy Palmiotti on talking about his experiences in original art collecting. Because as most people know, Jimmy's got an amazing collection. He's been collecting for over 30 years probably. Some people probably know better than I do how long he's been collecting. But at the end of the day, Jimmy came to me. He's like, "Hey, I've been watching all your shows with Nick, and Nick and he are really good friends." He's like, "I want to get on the show." So that'll be fun. I've talked with him a few times since then, never before that, and he's very excited about doing it and just talking about art as a collector, not as a creator, as he usually has to. And I think that's why Scott liked the chat last night too. So it's all going to be good. But then after that, then I'm on vacation. But I do have several conversations lined up after that. We don't need to get in those, but I'm pretty much got things kind of scheduled at least through mid-July right now. I don't really have anything else to add about the Comic Art Live show from last week. I do have a lot of great feedback, some ideas that I think Maureen and I are going to talk about over the next couple of days, just to see what we think we can implement. I've had a conversation with the Hero Initiative as well, as far as the drink and draw that went pretty well for them, and we've just talked about different ways that we might work together in the November show, but also maybe even doing a few things leading up to that through the Comic Art Live channel. So there's a lot of potential. I've talked about wanting to do different, maybe a once a month weekend show. So there might be something I might do with the Hero Initiative and other dealers. Anybody that might want to work with me on those things. So I can't really talk about that because that wouldn't happen until July anyway. Let me think. Okay, but other than that, yeah, we did. If anybody didn't catch it, we did hit the $1 million mark. It was just a little over $1 million of confirmed sales, $1,055,000. So that's pretty good. I know that there were still a lot of zeroed out sales that happened, and a lot of the exhibitors didn't reply to my request just to kind of fill me in on things. And some people had negatives, like they said, oh, the prices that they had confirmed actually had discounts in them, but they just wanted to mark stuff as sold. So I adjusted price, up and down based on what the seller feedback was, and we still ended up at that amount. So that's like a milestone for me. I just wanted to prove to myself that I could say to everybody that I know that, CAF is that influential and whatnot. I mean, I've always felt that those kind of sales happen all the time, but here we were able to kind of focus it and say it out loud that, we do good work. But the interesting thing for me, out of looking at the data from Comic Art Live, is just that it's funny that each show has kind of grown, and as far as the amount of artwork that's there, but the number of unique collectors that are coming in and logging in, it really doesn't grow that much. And I think each show is maybe seen about from logged in users, maybe a 1,000-person increase for the weekend. And as far as just CAF members and then just stragglers coming in from different social channels to the show, I think that it maybe only increased by a couple thousand each time. So it just reminds me how big or how small you want to look at the hobby. It being there's really, CAF has a really good core group of collectors, and then it's got a lot of people that kind of come in on the on the sides and aren't frequent. But I did have so at any rate, all I'm trying to get at is the hobby is never as big as I think it is. At the end of the day, we have an event like that, and I think we hit 29,000 unique people over the weekend, which is still a great number, and a little bit, but it's only a little bit bigger than I might normally get on a normal weekend. I might get 22,000 unique people on a regular weekend when there's not a Comic Art Live. So it's not a dramatic growth, just for a special event. So I don't know, tells me a little bit about the hobby, but at any rate, I don't want to bore you guys with that kind of details. Other than that, I know everybody liked that little clip with Mike and myself doing that Hammer Time dance. That was a lot of fun to do. Mike was a little embarrassed about it. He's like, I don't look good as Batman. So he's not watching tonight. So I was going to show everybody what Mike looks like on green screen with his Batman outfit. At least when I was editing him. So if you will indulge me for a moment so I can get a chuckle and a bit of levity. Here we go. Look at that guy. See, he's got the moves though. You look at that. I mean, he definitely could be on Dancing with the Stars maybe, or he could have been on some Disco Inferno show in the 70s. He's definitely got all that and more. We actually were playing Can't Touch This while he was doing that. So he gets into it. He gets into the parts that he plays for the Dueling Dealers episodes. And before I go on to get into the update, I will say everybody who, if you enjoy watching Dueling Dealers, definitely tune in to the Wednesday show next week, because we're going to be doing this special Billigan's Island episode where all the memes will be focused on Billigan, and we're expanding the cast a bit. So, my kids are going to be involved, and so it's going to be a broader Billigan's Island kind of thing. Like I told everybody the other day, you're going to get so much Billigan next Wednesday that you will not want to see Bill again for at least, I don't know, maybe a month or two. Let's see. Do I have any information? I'm sorry, just reading through the chat now, which I haven't been paying too close attention to. No, I don't, Ardath. I'll have to look into that. No, I can look. I'll let you know though if I do. Yeah, Billigan is an internet sensation. I know Mike will never beat Bain doing like that. No, he will not. Let's see the truffle shuffle. Yeah, that is a classic. We should that would be a good thing to spoof one time too. As you know, we've definitely talked about spoofing a few other shows like Back to the Future. The Muppets might find their way into some things that we're going to do because of Anthony's great Fozzie Bear impersonations. But it's digitally add abs for him. Yeah, Marcus, if only I could. I've done everything I can to make him look as trim as possible, but yeah, only he can get himself a six-pack. So more like dancing at the bars. I'm sorry, Larry. Yeah, Mike did great. He did do great, and Anthony hates. Yeah, when Berkey calls Anthony little buddy, you can always see the look on Anthony's face. He's not happy. I don't like it either, but I take it all in stride. So, because he's called me his little buddy for probably, gosh, as long as I've known him. So for 18 years, I think he calls everybody little buddy just to see what they'll do. I don't know. Mike's just that kind of a prankster. He's always trying to get a rise out of people, but he keeps a straight face. So you think he's either this dumb, you think, he's just kind of a, not stupid. He's a little crazy Ohioan guy, but he does it just to see how far he can push you. So that's, I think he did get a six-pack before the dance. Yes, exactly. That is what he did. But yeah, we had a good time putting that together. Mike didn't know what my intentions were with it. I had told him originally when I wanted to do a straight up, MC Hammer kind of thing. And so when I did the dance for that, I pretty much did the same thing. I threw the Can't Touch This video up in front of me, and I just mirrored whatever MC Hammer was doing on the screen. And I did the same thing for Mike. I just said, do it. And then, you'll work your way into something I'm going to put together. I really wanted it to be more like the MC Hammer video with them as backup dancers and stuff. And it just sort of evolved from there. I never expected to make it into a full video, but the music was good. It was appropriate, and it worked out really well. So let's see, what else? I can tell you one thing. It's always interesting. We may not have a record on that Dueling Dealer episode for Wednesday because one of the pieces of art that Mike had, and not to his, he didn't know that, what was it? It was the Frank Thorne Red Sonja. He got it either, I can't remember if he got it in a trade or if he bought it, but however he got it, a week or so ago, it was told to him that it was the corner box art. And clearly it was, and from a reputable collector too. So, it's not like there was I don't think anybody really thought anything of it at all. But as it turns out, it might not be the corner box art, and probably isn't, even though it was stamped a year before the first published Red Sonja came out. There was somebody had kind of let him know that the Donnellys actually have something that they claim to be the corner box art. And when you put the two of them together, it certainly looks like the one that the Donnellys have might actually be the real corner box art. So I don't know if Mike followed up with him or not, but I know that the buyer backed out of it. So that actually took $7,200 off the total. So Mike did have somebody who contacted him about the artwork, who wanted to buy it. So now we're waiting to see if the sale is going to happen or if it's not going to happen, because at the end of the day, the artwork was probably drawn at the exact same time that the real corner box art was drawn. It was used for a cover by Dynamite. It was published as a t-shirt. It was published as a few other things too. So it's still, the right period Frank Thorne artwork. It just isn't the corner box as it was advertised, by Mike. But in a weird way, now instead of just being a corner box, it really is a published cover, and it was drawn in, was it 79? I think was the Marvel stamp on it. So easily, I bet if it doesn't sell to the person who had contacted Mike afterwards, it's probably going to sell on his site for the same price. If not, now Mike can hype it as a cover, so he might even get a little more out of it. But but it taints the number on the Dueling Dealers. You know, Mike set the all-time high with that for a single seller with that show, where he passed Dino. So if the sale does not happen, then Dino's back to being number one. And that show definitely, well, good. I think it was at 71,000, puts it back down then to around 64, which may have it as the second highest show. I don't know, but it just goes to show you that even in this hobby, you know, Mike thought for sure he knew what he had, and the person who he got it from was sure that what they thought it was, and then lo and behold, you kind of look at it and compare the two really close, and it. When I looked at it, I could say, yeah, now I can see these subtle differences, like in her face. I can't see it anywhere else, but I could see in her face that it didn't look, that there are a couple lines that just weren't right. So, oh yeah, no, Mike's always been a good guy. You know, you never know what would, you know, these things happen all the time, but you know, especially for something like that, where it's a tough piece to figure it out. Because usually, and like Mike had said during the show, corner box art usually is smaller than that was drawn during that period. So it was a little odd that this image was bigger, and even more odd that, you know, it was drawn in 79 and then not used as a cover until Dynamite did a special cover with it. I mean, I think it was used as a T-shirt in the early 80s, but again, it's just an odd piece of art that was drawn then, stamped by Marvel, and then not used for so many years later. So still fantastic, but again, that's how those things go. Let's see. Khalil, thank you very much. I know Saturday's your night off, but Billigan Saturday Night Fever would kill. Yeah, you know, we've got there's definitely lots of things that we're talking about doing, and everybody really enjoyed what we did with that little music video and things, and I've kicked a few ideas around with Maureen, and I can tell you now, it's my son who's joining the team in production, because he's graduating from Kent State I think he's graduated now technically. So I've got my son's graduating college this month, and my daughter's graduating high school. So my son's coming on board for us, and you know, I let him know, it's like, hey, you do this for 2 or 3 years, you're gonna have so much experience, you'll be able to go anywhere. So he's actually here this evening, and we're going to be talking about the Billigan's Island episode and what we need to film for that. And then he's going to help me with an outro. Everyone, I know how much everybody hates it when I just press the end broadcast button and it's all over. There's no music. There's no anything that happens at the end. We're going to fix that. I know that, and I'm going to fix it tonight, because I'm actually going to play like that 20-second clip of the music video when I leave. But yeah, that's just something that we've talked about. I need to put that together, so I have an outro. I really need an intro, but outros seem to be the thing everybody would like to see, because it's just no fun. So many people in the room, and then I just flip the switch and I'm gone. So, you know, sorry, just reading through. Good evening, Mikhail. Nice to see you as well. Looking forward to our conversation on Sunday evening. Mikhail is probably the most organized person I've ever met. He put together a spreadsheet for everything for us too, far more than I could ever have the time to do. But boy, was it needed, because doing the collector show, I've just been feeling like I've been riding in the back seat, and the collectors are really helping pull that show together every week. And with Dino's done a great job, James has done a great job, Khalil, everybody's doing a great job, but me, I just come in to moderate that show. And I really appreciate the fact that the collectors have taken charge and, you know, want to really make the show very, very special. And there's lots of things that we've talked about to make that Sunday show even more interesting, I think, as we kind of move through the progression of the different chats that each of the collectors are going to be doing. I'm sorry, I'm just reading Ardath's comment about the Frazetta prelim. I'll have to look into that too, Ardath. I'll look into that one thing you mentioned, though, because I don't know anything about it. Yes, I am the Rock. That's true. I'm just glad everybody wants me to hang around. I don't always have a lot to say during that show, but you guys really are the best. So you should sing up. That's very true. Very true, Mr. Rejak. All right, so let's get into the update for the week, because I'm sure it's going to be I'm kind of curious to see how things go, because I know a lot of the dealers who had sales over during Comic Art Live didn't update their dealer websites with those sales. Some did. I mean, I saw some of Albert's sales were out there. Certainly sales from Will, he recorded. I mean, Will kind of Will and Glenn have a unique strategy on selling. They usually announce things that they're selling, right before whatever big event. So they both, I think, said on Friday what artworks they were bringing to Comic Art Live. So I know that Will probably had some negotiations going on even before Comic Art Live opened, because he basically teased, the new items that he was bringing. Glenn did as well, and but they do, I know that's something they'll do a lot. You'll see they'll both do art updates before, and many dealers do actually. We'll do an art update before a heritage auction. Try to suck a little of that money out of the collector's hands before it gets sucked away by a big auction. And red cardigan font. So at any rate, there definitely was some sales happening beforehand that before the show started, and there were several dealers that had sales that I know they did not update their websites on Saturday or Sunday. So next week's numbers might be very different than the numbers that are here this week. But dealers did record last week, and this is for May 17th through the 23rd, $346,000 in sales. And sorry, I'm even looking at the wrong numbers here. It was $392,000 in sales as opposed to $241,000. And Will led the way. The top three sales of the week were by Will. All of them recorded. Well, one was recorded on Friday and two were recorded on Sunday. So Comic Art Page had 8 sales for $140,000 of the 390. Next up was Berkey with 29 sales and $82,000. Albert with 17 sales and $58,000, and then Anthony again in fourth with 72 sales and $25,000 in sales. So again, I'm just so happy to see Anthony always up in these lists now that the Dueling Dealers is kind of pushing him along. So he always had those high sales figures and would always be closer to 20 grand or 15 grand, but he would outsell everybody in volume. So it's just cool to see how Dueling Dealers has definitely helped out. Khalil, the Masters of the Universe. Nope, not going to happen. I thought about doing a Conan thing, and I realized I'm just not chiseled enough for that. And Will he definitely, Will has a lot of. Will's kind of a mix on a deal. He does sells a lot of consignment, and he also has a really nice amount of personal collection, and his the work that he's just always kind of got in his own stock. But he's definitely, when he does bring out good art, he always brings out some really great art. So I'm going to just show you the top 6 dealer sales for that period. And like I said, Will's got the top 3 from that week. So again, $392,101 from Comic Art Dealers. First up, of course, this is a New Mutants number 27 cover from 1985. This is by Bill Sienkiewicz, and the asking price on this one was $55,555. Next up, again from Will, this is a Watchmen number 5 page, and it's by Dave Gibbons, of course. This was marked as sold on Sunday with an asking price of $46,000. And finally from Will, this is from Uncanny X-Men 142, Days of Future Past, of course. John Byrne, Terry Austin, sold on Sunday for the asking price of $31,000. That almost sounds reasonable in the day that we have today, isn't it? Next up is a piece sold by Albert Moy, asking price $20,000. Jim Lee, of course. This is the cover to Sandman Universe issue number 1. This one was sold by Mike Berkey, Ramita Man original art. Asking price was $17,500. This is by Don Heck and Mike Esposito. It's Tales of Suspense number 66, the title page splash from 1964. And finally, another piece sold by Albert Moy. This is entitled The Mummy by Jeff Jones, and the asking price on this one was $17,000, and it sold on Friday, so right before we did the Comic Art Live show. So, again, just solid sales all around for everybody, but I know that I don't feel that everybody recorded their sales over the weekend. And I think as, we talked about some of the breakdowns on stuff, and I'm not sure I've got that spreadsheet. Oh, I do. Yeah, dealers during Comic Art Live, out of that million dealers accounted for 400,000 of that, and collectors, by and large, were the lion's share of the sales at just under $640,000. So I see a lot of that $400,000 in sales. At least half of that came from dealers that I represent and track in my dealer market data. So, again, I'm guessing that we're going to see a really good week from them next week, just because of them updating their books and those sorts of things. Sorry, I'm just going through and so many fun comments from everybody. All right, let's take a look at the auction house sales, and that was one that reached $346,000 during that period, and that's up from $241,000. So just in general a good week for auction houses. Primarily that went again to Heritage. eBay's been slacking off, and I can confirm that just from I'm able to track all my sales with eBay, and because I get commission payments from them for that, and they've definitely I'd say since the end of March. I don't know why. There's been maybe it's just the sellers are moving away. They're putting their better stuff now that they see what everybody's getting at Heritage and Comic Link and Comic Connect and even Hakes nowadays. Everybody's probably thinking eBay is not where they want to put their artwork. So I've been seeing the eBay sales starting to slack off, but Heritage weekly sales have been picking up. So like I said, out of the 346,000 from last week, let's see, 202,000 went to Heritage and only 143 went to eBay. And eBay sales figures just keep dropping. They used to be right around 1,000 artworks a week that they were selling, and they're currently, the last 2 weeks have been under 750. So, again, it is what it is. Sometimes I think eBay was doing really well between, say, Thanksgiving period, so mid-November through March, and I was seeing that too. But now it's starting to slack off. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe people are prepping, thinking they're going to get their artwork out in front of other at cons or something, or maybe it was just to build up the Comic Art Live. People were holding back stuff, so they didn't want to put it out there, because clearly we set records as far as the amount of good artwork on for that show, almost hitting 5,000 artworks available that weekend. Oh yeah, Michael, that is very true. I've seen that eBay changed their category structure, and it did screw up a lot of things, because as a partner / affiliate of eBay's for the work that I do, I know that a lot. It didn't hurt me as much, but I know that it damaged a lot of the businesses of people who do affiliate marketing with eBay exclusively. The people were seeing like 50% drops in their sell rate, and everybody was blaming it on all the category changes that eBay rolled out, ironically, probably right around that same time period. So maybe it is really affecting, the buying habits of some people, because it was basically a mess, and it still is kind of a mess. I know that there's a lot of consternation in the eBay community right now. So eBay is what it is, and yes, Khalil, that's right. We should mention that Comic Link does have a very good featured auction that is ending on Tuesday. We pushed out a mailing for them yesterday as well. It's always funny when you figure that they scheduled that the day after Memorial Day, and I'm sure like when it gets up to this point, they're like, oh man, we scheduled it right after a holiday. I wonder, hey, how are we going to get everybody to pay attention on Monday to remind them that we've got this big auction closing on Tuesday. So that's why I pushed out a mailing for them yesterday, and I'll probably do another featured sponsored kind of mailing for them again on I'll probably I don't know, I'll see what they want me to do. I'll probably do it on Tuesday afternoon. But yeah, there's a lot of good artwork in the Comic Link auction. Again, that's why I did go up to them and ask them about doing another recap with them, because I think that their show and their sales definitely warrant it. And Josh is being more open about wanting to give me at least some of the data, the number of sold items, total sales figures, things that we couldn't we could never have tracked on our own, because I don't ask him for his market data anymore, and I'll probably never get it. But yeah, I'm seeing everybody's. There's a couple other comments about eBay's category changes. Yeah, eBay just shoots themselves in the foot all the time. I mean, they've done that. I've worked very closely with them as a developer from, gosh, I don't even know when I started working with them, probably like 2007. They used to fly me out to the West Coast, and because I was one of their top people in the collectibles niches, and I've worked a lot with CGC and the CGC forums to get them to working with eBay as well in that capacity. So they all, but it seemed like every year it's like they would do one thing right and two things wrong, and they've done that throughout their entire career. They can't ever seem to get things right. They have this wonderful opportunity early on and they just blow it. So I don't know, but it's okay because it's given rise to places like Heritage and Comic Link and make them more relevant. And at the end of the day, while I'm happy to support eBay because they support comic art fans financially because of the sales that we make with them, at the end of the day, they're not innovative. They're not doing anything that's really gonna make our hobby any better, like Heritage and Comic Link and Hakes and and Vince over at Comic Connect, all the people that are really passionate about the hobby and are collectors themselves. I mean, those are that's why we're trying to find more ways to work with them in the future. So, all right. So why don't we go into those particular, the top 3 sales from eBay and the top 3 sales from Heritage last week. So again, 346 total $1,000 in sales. First up was this Jim Lee Art Bear Uncanny X-Men 270, page 13. This was from 1990. This one only sold for $5,999. I think it might have been a buy it now. I'd have to go back and check. This next one was by an artist named Selena. This is from Invincible Red Sonja #1. This is one of the variant covers. And not familiar with Selena myself, but this one sold for $4,805. And then next up, I love this page. It's Avengers 91, page 28, all Sal Buscema. Love that last panel. That would be a page that I'd like to own one day. And then these are the 3 Heritage pieces, all a little offbeat. This is a Roy Krenkel preliminary cover, sold for $12,000. And that's, if you've seen a lot of Roy's preliminary covers, that was a very finished looking one compared to a lot of the other prelims I've seen out there. And then these are, there's actually going to be 2 of these. These are Jose Salinas Cisco Kid dailies. This one was from 1951, sold for $7,200. And this one is also from 1951. Both of these are from November of that year. And this one sold for $6,600. So I love Salinas' work. And, you can just see the amazing brushwork in both of those strips. I'm sure Ruben would agree, because he's a big strip collector as well, that Salinas was a master. So Salinas, yeah, exactly, Larry, right? We don't see enough of that, but those are beautiful. And I love that first one with Stagecoach. That one, again, but those things are out of my price range now. I don't think I'll ever own one, but that's all right. I get to look at them every single week. And so why don't we go into the popular artwork, my picks for what I thought were the best artworks added to CAF. And it's always my opinion, just remember that. It's so that's why I think we tend to see more Marvel than DC, even though I try to get DC in there. This first one, well, let's just jump right into it. First up, this is in the collection of Frederick Lorge, a good friend from Comic Art Factory. This is Mike Zeck and John Beatty. This is Captain America number 277, the cover, of course. It's a great pickup. Next up, this is in Khalil's collection, Taskmaster number 4 variant cover by Corey Smith. Absolutely cool. I love that one. Congratulations, Khalil. Next up, this is Mike Mignola in the collection of AMR1. This is Hellboy Day of the Deaths cover. Darn cool. And this was something that Malvin was working towards for a while. This is by Brian Bolland, of course. This is a Judge Dredd cover from Amazing Heroes. Absolutely amazing, I have to say. To get a Dredd Bolland cover of any kind is well worth the wait. Congratulations, Malvin. Next up, this is in the collection of Michael Wygant. It's from Avengers number 8, Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers. Next up is, this is from Steel, number 13, collection of Paul P. This is Chris Batista and Dennis Janke. And we've got this great Michael Golden, Terry Austin, Doctor Strange, 55 page. This is in the collection of Kirk Dilbeck from Three Wishes and patron of art over on eBay. Again, look at that last image. Dang it. I wish my son would have lingered on that one a little longer. Next up is Infinity Gauntlet, #1 page. Kabi H is the owner of this one. George Perez and Joe Rubenstein are the artists. And this is in the collection of Andy E., Olivier Coipel. This is the Thor series from 2020. This is the #1 cover. This is, of course, you can see by Mike Perkins. This one is in Ruben's collection, and it's Iron Fist number 77, DPS pages 14 and 15. And then a great Uncanny X-Men annual 6-page, Bill Sienkiewicz, Bob Wyacek. This is in the collection of Mario Lasota. Congratulations, Mario. I mean, one of my favorite stories, and I love that one. This is in Dave W.'s collection. Not surprising. This is Mike Diodato. This is from Incredible Hulk, number 453, DPS pages 2 and 3. Now, this one is a Daredevil 57 page in the collection of Mark Howland. Not sure why it's not moving there. I'll talk with my son about that one. This is, of course, Gene Colan and Sid Shores. And we've got 3 more to go. This is in the collection of Daryl R. It's Jim Aparo, of course. This is Brave and the Bold 181. It's got Batman and Hawk in it. Fantastic. Love that last panel again. And final 2, Joe Kubert. Of course, this is from Sergeant Rock number 14. This is in the collection of Greg Goldstein. And this is a fantastic, fantastic image. And finally, a collection of James S. It's a DPS. Who would have thought? So Ron Garney, Dan Green. This is from Fantastic Four 328, all the way back in 1991. So there you have it. There are there are my picks. So I'm glad that some of you guys in the chat actually got mentioned this evening. And Aaron Odinson, yeah, that was yeah. I loved Perkins' work on that, and I'm glad that you got a page from that one as well. And yeah, the Kubert cover was fantastic. That I mean, again, my favorite one probably was the Zek at the beginning. I mean, it's just such a cool cover, and you know, I'm envious of Frederick for getting it. Frederick, yeah, he has a very eclectic collection, so it's interesting to see him go after something like that. But you know, as collectors, that's just how we are. There's always something that you see and you just have to have, and so even if it doesn't like fit what you might normally always be buying, there's always something that hits you right here, you know, and you feel like you just got to go after it. So I'm really happy that Frederick got that piece added to his collection. And yeah, James, hey, I didn't know you were here tonight, James. So I haven't been paying attention to the chat. Sorry. And Michael, you know, no problem, man. The thing is, you know, I look at when I'm looking for artwork, I do like 2 or 3 different ways that I look at things. I look at what other people are commenting on. I then kind of check out what's most popular, and then I have like kind of a measuring thing that shows me likes and stuff. So I look at everything, and then I pull my list together that way. I mean, I of course, you know, I have my own wants, and sometimes I'll see a piece of artwork during the week that I'll essentially add to my like list so I can go back and get it. But by and large, I really do look at what everybody else is really appreciating on CAF for that period. And I just run with it. I just, you know, so it's, as much as I always say, it's just, you know, it's my picks from the week. It really is the things that everybody else is finding, you know, most appealing that week as well. And yeah, I mean, there was so many. It was really cool how a lot of those were those last images that were great, even on the Avengers 8 page. But you know, William was mentioning here on the Defenders panel, that last panel by Golden, just so classic, so beautiful. I mean, that's if you were into Golden's artwork, that's kind of the period of his work that you really want to get. So let's see, just running through the chat here. But other than all of that, I think that's probably it for today. It's got 45 minutes into the show, and I didn't even think I was going to talk for that long. But I will take a lot of time over the next day and a half to respond to everybody who sent me so many emails. I mean, it was funny. I got emails before the show started. Everybody knew how tired I think I looked on that last Thursday show. when we had the trouble with Tony's internet, and I went back and watched that, and I felt like I was going to fall asleep during that whole show. So I think it finally showed. But I am well rested now. I can tell everybody that. I just have not been able to get caught up on my emails. So and trust me, I've got about 10 people that I need to talk to about getting on panels too. And so anybody that's watching and is expecting me to email them, I will definitely get back to them, because a lot of people reached out to me, and I even reached out to a lot of people, and then I wasn't able to follow up with them because I got so bogged down, with the show coming up. But why not put out a Cap comic? I mean, there's only so many things I can do. I'm involved in that Infected by Art book as a publisher, and that thing, it's such an effort to put something like that out. I don't know how Nick Barucci does it. I mean, well, I know how he does it. He's always up at like 3 a.m. I mean, that guy never sleeps. So to put the effort in on the publishing side of things and run that, as fun as it is, and as much as I enjoy doing that, I just don't think I could ever get into doing, at least not anything certainly in print, because I wouldn't have I couldn't stomach it. Even just working through somebody else is difficult. So I like doing everything online. So yeah, I don't think I'd ever do any kind of printed comic. But yeah, the Scott Williams interview last night, if you guys haven't seen it, if you missed it, please go back and watch it. It was a lot of fun. Scott and I had never talked to him before. I mean, but I've known of his collection for years, and it was really, really nice to get his impression on things, and his comment on he would never ink a Wrightson, even and it's been offered to him. I mean, those are kind of insights that those aren't things that I was expecting to talk about, but those are things you just enjoy hearing, because you can see you can tell how his reverence for the artists, and knowing where he should work and where he shouldn't work on things. So Nick Barucci, exactly. He has a Friday show, and I've always, even when he was on Thursdays, I mean, I was a little mad initially when they announced the Thursday show, but they did do it at 6. So they did that just to keep it out of the way of our Thursday show. But Nick has his own show on the EXP. I think if you want to look for it on YouTube or look for it on Facebook, it is _EXP. His show, and I don't know, he's not here, so he can't correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think he's on at 6 or 7 o'clock on Fridays now. So, and it's an art focused show. He did a great job the week before when it was his birthday. He was giving away art at really low prices, and whatever he bought it for like 10 or 15 years ago, he was selling it for what he bought it for, and he did some giveaways. So he's picking up momentum. He hasn't really asked me to help promote it by sending me press releases, which I'd be happy to do, but definitely tune into it. I mean, Nick, as everyone knows, is he's a big supporter of all the things that I do here, and I want to help him out as best as I can. So at least put it on your list to check out his show on Friday. And he was, well, that's okay. I didn't know that. Well, that's weird, because if he wasn't on the show, I know Will had like a 10-show agreement with him, and I believe Will was done either, it would have been the Friday before last, right? I think was Will's last show with Nick. I think Will's going to keep doing it with him, but just periodically being on it. So if Nick's not on his own show, then that might be problematic. Maybe that's why he didn't let me know about it. Let's see. So just going through everything. At any rate, I think that's probably good enough. We're going to be working out the script for this Billigan episode, and I know we all want it to be better than we think it's going to be. So it's going to take a bit of effort, but I want to sit down with Maureen and my son Ashton. So you're going to start hearing Ashton's name a lot more now that he's fully engaged with the work that I'm going to be doing, and hopefully taking over a lot more of the video editing things that I'm doing. But he's probably going to be working as more of the camera guy and the video editing, and I'll just be more directing, I guess, going forward. So this was around 8:30 p.m. today. Oh, I'm going to have to ask Nick what's going on with his show then, because I thought it was earlier, and but I knew that he said he was going to keep doing it, even though Will wasn't going to be on the show all the time with him. I'll find out, and as best I can, I will let everybody know. So there you go. I'm gonna leave you today with an outro that isn't really an outro. It's just that same little Hammer Time clip the short 20-second one, not the full 2.5-minute one. And I'll see everybody on Sunday evening at 9. And, again, with James, Mikhail, Ruben, and Michael Lovitz. It should be a lot of fun. 2 new collectors on the show with different stories to tell and perspectives on things. I'm not going to kind of indulge everybody on what they're going to talk about, but I guarantee it's all topical, and it's going to be a lot of interesting conversation. So here is my outro. I will see everybody again on, on Sunday at 9 o'clock. So here we go, and I'm going to be out of here.